Hi Superman, how are you doing?
I'm fine, just a bit tired after flying around. How about you?
Well, I'm okay. Just that I'm having a quite bit of problem with the Carrefour China stores. They are all facing problems with equipment maintenance and suppliers relations, and many of the equipment have broken down because previous store managers had cut capital investment in areas that were crucial for the trouble-free operation of the stores.
What do you mean?
They have cut the budget for air conditioning and refrigeration system. Now it's working much harder and causing a dramatic increase in their energy consumption along with need for additional repairs. I'm in a dilemma over how to solve this.
Let me try and help you. First of all, I think you can improve the lifespan of your equipment by implementing regular system checks and requesting for the top management to set aside budget for maintenance. You should also train your key personnel on how to take care of the equipment, emphasizing perhaps for them to stop climbing up and down the display cases. To save costs further, you may want to consider switching to energy-saving equipment. It takes big investment in the beginning, but it will reduce overall cost in the long run.
Sounds doable. Anyway, we are also having problem with our suppliers. Due to the lack of budget for repairs, the store managers have been blaming the equipment suppliers and pressuring them to repair the equipment. Now, many of our suppliers are operating strictly by their supply agreements because they feel we take advantage over them. I could use a second opinion on what to do about this.
Well, I would suggest apologizing for the misunderstanding and perhaps be more willing to give allowances for mistakes made for the first time. Give the ones that are sincere a second chance. Maybe you can rank your suppliers and sign longer term contracts with the better ones. The suppliers might be more willing to cooperate when they see your sincerity.
I think I'll try to communicate with my suppliers more about this issue then.
Anyway, I've heard that Carrefour wants to build a greener store in Beijing before the Olympics. Is it true?
Technically, it's still under consideration, and there's going to be a meeting on this in a few weeks. Hey, do you want to go in? It's quite tiring standing here.
Oh, sure. Anyway, I think this greener store in Beijing is a good concept for your company. It allows you to cut costs and bring in mass publications. What is the management concerned about?
Well, currently we only have two options. First, build this greener store. Second, stay with our current store.
From my past experience, you must have decision criteria to determine which project you want to pursue. I am sure you have them in mind, right?
Well, sort of, but I haven't made up my mind.
Okay, why don't we write it down and discuss them then?
Sure.
In terms of risk, if you build this greener store, you may be unable to focus on current store problems. In fact, your current store problems are more pressing and important. On top of that, your efforts to be greener with only one store might be wrongly perceived as greenwashing campaign by environmentalists. However, if you just do nothing and stay with your current store, there will be no media hype before the Olympics, and thus public attention will be shifted to your competitors, such as Tesco, which is planning on transferring some of the eco-initiatives from the UK. On top of that, you may save up to $872,533 per annum by having this green store. Moreover, I also believe that building greener store will enhance Carrefour's green image, which is part of your corporate sustainability development. Additionally, if you stay with your current store, you will lose out in terms of brand image in the environment area to your competitors that are adopting green practices in China already. Considering the risk, cost savings, and also your corporate image, I would suggest for you to build the greener store as planned.
But what about the risk mentioned?
Well, you can form a new national team to help you take care of both current store problems and green building plan. This is the structure which I think will suit your needs. In addition, you should formulate store maintenance standards and regulations. By having a common standard, all Carrefour stores in your region will have a certain guideline to abide to.
What about the greenwashing issue?
Well, you must let the environmentalists know that you have done other green initiatives beside this project. On top of that, it is advisable if you show intention to implement this idea to other stores.
Well, thanks for your advices. I think your ideas would work well.
By the way, do you have any green building standard options in mind? I heard that Chinese government will be imposing stricter green building standards.
Currently, I have three options in mind: LED from the US, predicted Chinese government standards, and also establishing a Carrefour standard of my own. If I pursue LED, the store might not get certified before the Olympics, and it may be too low to meet the Chinese government standards. The safest option is to follow Chinese government standard, but it's currently unavailable. It's just difficult to accurately predict what Chinese government standard will be. As for Carrefour's own standards, we have no experience and will have to start from the beginning.
In terms of reliability, I think LED is the most reliable as it has fixed standard based on USGBC, whereas Chinese government standard differs from one province to another. If you establish your own standard, it might be perceived as unreliable or being biased as you can try to fit the standard with what you aim to do. In terms of cost, LED has the highest registration and official recognition fees, whereas Chinese government certification might cost you lower.
I'm inclined to follow the Chinese government standards, but it seems quite troublesome.
Well, it's going to be stricter than the LED standard, but in the long term, when the Chinese government raises their standard, your store will already be qualified.
That's true. It's better to pursue high standard now, so that my operation won't be disrupted in case the government standard is rising. Do you have any other suggestions for me?
For the greener store, I will recommend you to adopt all the standard equipments which are currently tested in Taiwan and Yuanchun. Most of them have higher annual savings than initial investment costs, so I think it's an easy decision to adapt them. On top of those equipments, when Carrefour has more funds to dedicate to this area, you may want to consider pursuing enhanced equipment, which, if combined with the standard equipment, has a 2.6 average payback period. This is how the greener store energy consumption would look like compared to your current store. It reduces your energy consumption for almost 52%, which will lead to 30% higher profit.
Wow, your idea is brilliant. The management will be more than happy to know that the profit can be boosted to 30% higher. Now I think I must form the national team immediately to deal with equipment maintenance and suppliers relation, as those two problems are urgent. I estimate that the overall progress should be done in a year's time. In the same time, after getting approval from management, I would direct my green building team to plan and start building it, as it has to be finished before the Olympics. After those two pressing problems are solved, I want to convert all stores in China to be a green store by equip them with standard equipment.
Now you are ready to bring Carrefour China to a greater height.
Oh, thanks a lot for your help.